Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Monday, February 28. Government is embarking on a major project to curtail crime and violence in vulnerable schools and communities across Jamaica. The Violence Prevention in Targeted Vulnerable Communities and Schools in Jamaica program will be spearheaded by the Ministry of National Security. It's receiving $7 million in funding support from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang signed an agreement formalizing the arrangement on Friday with Chargé d'Affaires at the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica, John McIntyre. The initiative seeks to enhance the relationship between at-risk youth and members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, particularly the JCF's Community Safety and Security Branch. The Ministry of Education and Youth will provide support for school-based activities, and the Justice Ministry will facilitate synergy with its child diversion and restorative justice programs. Dr. Chang says the agreement is intended to take a completely different path in addressing the chronic causes of crime and violence in Jamaica.
The essence of the security plan is to coordinate the agencies of government to deliver to the at-risk population the services that will improve their standing by restoring their dignity, giving them hope, and allowing them to achieve some success in life.
The Department of Correctional Services, DCS, has secured another 2-year partnership to provide inmates and correctional officers with scholarships to pursue degree programs. The first signing was in 2020 for 5 full scholarships. A memorandum of understanding was recently signed by the DCS, the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, and Stand Up for Jamaica to provide 6 scholarships this year. These recipients will go on to pursue an associate degree in business administration. They include 2 inmates and 1 correctional officer each from the St. Catherine and South Camp Adult Correctional Centers. Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security Xavier Main says the partnership supports the DCS's program of reintegration through the provision of educational training.
It is through opportunities like these where persons who would have committed a breach of one law or the other would have committed themselves and thereafter they would have been confined. This opportunity gives them a chance to redeem themselves so that, particularly for the inmates that is, so that when their time would have come to an end, they are in a position to move back into the society, and it gives them a greater ability to fit, to reintegrate.
This ongoing partnership signifies our commitment to higher education and rehabilitation for inmates in our care, as well as the importance of high quality welfare of the officers within our institutions.
Government is fully funding the return of Jamaican students who were in Ukraine when conflict broke out between that country and Russia last week. On Friday, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith reported that government managed to make arrangements for all the students to get to Poland, where further preparations were being made for their return to Jamaica. She says the administration will underwrite all the costs for the students' transportation and accommodation until they arrive in Jamaica, adding that there is no loan involved.
The government will underwrite the costs of subsistence in Lviv and in Poland, as well as the transportation costs for the students from Lviv to Poland. We have already publicly announced that we will be also underwriting the costs for air travel back to Jamaica. The Jamaica Tourist Board is already engaged, and this is the office in Germany, is already engaged to finalize arrangements for air travel from Poland through Frankfurt and on to Montego Bay as soon as circumstances allow.
23 students were en route over the weekend, and the minister says the Chargé d'Affaires of the Jamaican Embassy in Berlin, Denise Seeley, was dispatched to Poland to receive them upon their arrival in that country.
She will provide general support to the process, including settling the arrangements made for their accommodation and subsistence.
In the meantime, the Foreign Affairs Minister says government has been fully engaged with the students and their parents as they work feverishly to ensure their safe return home. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has added 2 mobile units to enhance its operational management of the Overseas Employment Program. The commissioning of the mobile units was paired with sending off 108 seasonal agricultural workers to Canada last Thursday to take up employment in Ontario and its environs. Minister of Labour and Social Security Carl Samuda says government intends to move aggressively to get a larger share of the employment market in Canada.
I know there is competition from other countries, but that competition cannot outdo the skills and commitment and hard-working nature of the Jamaican worker if we really strive to achieve market share of that region of Canada. It opens the opportunity for, instead of having 9,000 workers annually, I'm looking for increasing that to a minimum of 100% over the next 3 years, because I know that the market is there.
Canadian High Commissioner to Jamaica Emina Tudakovic encouraged the Jamaicans to know their rights while understanding how important the farm work program was to the Canadian market.
The first thing I wanted to say is how important this program is for Canada. The Seasonal Agricultural Worker Program is integral to us delivering food in Canada. And not just in Canada, it's food we export. It allows us not to rely so much on imports, but it's really, really important for us.
And finally, Jamaica is advancing its climate change policies to align with the global targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and preserving the earth. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, says the country is committed to the appropriate climate actions. He was addressing a recent virtual town hall on the emissions policy framework and the updated climate change policy framework.
The updated climate change policy framework signals Jamaica's commitment to global climate action, as well as concrete actions at the national and local levels.
The emissions policy framework and updated climate change policy will ensure that Jamaica maintains its obligations under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Paris Agreement. Members of the public can submit written comments on the policies to policycomments@megjc.gov.jm until March 31, 2022. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.